Shiesty's in a situation, man. You know, he's in a situation. The feds are not gonna reveal all their information. They're gonna put some of the stuff out there. You know, the discovery is gonna come out. We see, you know, there's witnesses, statements been made, and they're gonna use those witnesses and statements in this situation. From what the lawyer is gonna say, it's 5 people, I guess, that have made statements. But I want y'all to check this out right here.
You tell me when you guys are ready. Ready?
Would you say your name first real quick?
Yeah, Bradford Cohen, Cohen, Sam Zengane, and John Helms.
And any questions, just look straight in the middle.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you.
So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable. I think the way that the statements were made, what allegedly was witnessed and what wasn't witnessed, I think gave great pause to the FBI. The FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said on the night that it occurred. They were involved the first night and then nothing happened for 3 months. In addition to that I thought was quite embarrassing was that an FBI agent says they don't have the resources to keep their eye on an individual. This is allegedly an individual that committed a crime that they then didn't watch to see if the guns were present, if the jewelry was present. And what didn't we hear today? What we didn't hear today is there is no contract, this mystery contract. They have no contract. They have no video of this alleged signing of a contract. They have no guns. They have no jewelry. They have none of that physical evidence. What they have is they have allegedly 5 individuals, one of them being a very well-known individual that is allegedly cooperating with the government and making these allegations against my client and many more. I'm going to take like 1 or 2 questions and then we're going to scoot.
You're essentially arguing that got only a he said kind of case, no evidence.
Correct. Yeah, it's very fair. I think that this is it's a he said type of a case. I mean, obviously there's 5 individuals on one side. What we're missing are the other people that were present in the room, right? The owner of the studio who says he didn't hear anything or see anything. The way they leave the studio where no one is in concert with anybody else, no one's arguing with anyone else. One of the individuals says, "Hey, can I get my watches back?" Like, the story is quite unusual. And I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual. And I think that's why it took so long to make the arrest.
What is your response to the judge saying that, your client still violated the terms of this ankle monitor location?
Sure. Those are all things that are going to be, flushed out. The fact is that he was allowed to be in certain areas at certain times. That really wasn't an argument for today. I wasn't really even going to make that argument. My main thrust of today was to really push on the evidence and see exactly what they had and when they had. How about this? How about the individual who wrote the complaint, who actually drafted the complaint, who was sitting in the courtroom, who's only been an FBI agent for 4 years, does not take the stand? They put someone else on to say what she wrote in her own complaint when she's sitting in the courtroom. And that's done quite often in gamesmanship because they don't want to put a rookie on the stand and be measured by our legal team.
How far away is this from trial?
Oh, who knows? We're going to get discovery. We'll take a look at their discovery. They're going to say it's ongoing. I mean, think about it. They had 3 months to get this stuff. They had 3 months to get warrants. They didn't get warrants that night. They didn't get warrants the next night. They didn't get warrants the next month. They didn't get warrants the month after. They waited 3 months to get warrants on whether or not there's guns, whether or not there's jewelry. How about their cell phones? How about the computers? That gives me great pause when I see a case that takes that long to get warrants, if you believe everything that was said on the evening that it occurs.
Does the guy have a top out of jail?
Hold on, let me take one from her because she was trying last night.
Can you say anything about the identity of RD and then
Correct. So listen, I don't like when the government puts initials in and everyone takes a guess who they are. We all know who they are, right? I'm not going to say it's this person or that person. That's not my job to do. But certainly there have been media posts of individuals that we suspect were involved in that evening where they're denying that it occurred, or they're denying that they're giving statements to the government. I think that's unusual as well, because of what the government put forward today seems to negate those statements, but we'll have to see how this all shakes out. Listen, guys, Sam and I have had many cases together, right? We just finished a case a couple of years ago in San Francisco on the Cash App murder case. And whenever I talk to individuals, whenever I talk to the media, I always say, this is not a straight road. It's always a very winding road. So we never know where things are going to take us. We got to look at the evidence as it comes in, and we'll see what's there. I'm just shocked that, when they say there might be video out there, they don't have it. There might be this mystery contract, they don't have it. Oh, they were at Staples, making copies. It's just a total guess. So, we're not here to guess. I'm here to look at the evidence, to weigh the evidence, and to make the best decision based on that evidence.
Your client just stays in detention until what?
Yeah, currently he'll stay in detention. We'll get discovery. We'll start going through that. There's going to be several motions that we're going to file, obviously, in the next couple of weeks, but that'll all come out, and we'll give copies to everybody. Look at my man.
Did the feds even interview any of the people yet? Any of the alleged victims?
So my understanding is the FBI has, over the past 3 or 4 months, has interviewed none of the alleged victims, and allegedly they all have future dates to give statements. But I have no idea if that's true. We're basing it on what the agent said on the stand, that each one of those witnesses from that evening is going to appear and give a statement to the federal authorities.
So RD never made a statement as of now?
Not to the FBI, but that evening it appears from the material that they produced and from the agent's testimony is that RD gave a statement that evening, but since that evening has not given another statement. But the FBI said in the future they're all scheduled to give statements, so we'll have to see. All right, thank you guys.
Now listen, I want to say this right here, right? You got to understand, the attorneys, when they start speaking after an arrest and they don't have the discovery, they always make it sound like the case is nothing. They do this every single time. So with Pooh Shiesty case, right? We hear that they have 5 different witnesses that made statements to the police. They didn't make statements to the feds yet, but they made statements to the police. The feds are going to eventually interview these guys, right? And they're going to ask them questions that they want to know. And of course, they already made statements. They're going to tell what happened. We already know that. Gucci Man did make a statement. They're saying it right there. They're saying that he didn't make a statement to the feds, but he made a statement when it first happened. So yes, he already made a statement. Now, in a situation like that, what was he supposed to do? This is business. So as a businessman, you got to file for insurance claim on your jewelry. You got to make sure that it's noted that you didn't sign no documents. What do you think a businessman going to do if we being real? But his attorneys are making it seem like there's nothing when they have witnesses. But I guarantee y'all this. Once they get the discovery and they start speaking about the discovery, that the tone changes. This is how they sell themselves to the people. This is how they sell themselves to their client. When they first sign on for a case, they're going to tell you everything. Man, you got this. They don't got nothing. because they don't have the discovery. They don't really know what's going on with the case. So of course they're going to say that. If the entire world knows the situation and how it played out, and then these guys get arrested months later, they got something. Now, his attorney say the feds don't take 3 months to build the case. Where did he come up with that? There's cases out here where the feds have took years to indict Ricos and a bunch of people. Come on now. So that's why I be looking at the attorneys funny. I ain't even gonna lie. I look at the attorneys funny, man, because they just say anything to the people because they know majority of the people are laymen of the law, don't know nothing. So they can just say whatever to the people and you just like, oh, his lawyer said this. Must be good. Because we have been trained to believe everything the attorney says because he practiced law and he know the law and we don't. Later on, when the discovery comes out, this is when they're going to know everything. But then, you know, one thing about the system, they're not going to know everything. They're going to know majority of it because later on, they're going to bring something else out. This is the game that the prosecutors play. The feds, the government, the state, they all play this game. All right, I'm going to give them this, but then act like, all right, here we got this now. The same exact thing with the Young Thug case. The same exact thing. When they give you the discovery, yeah, majority of the stuff's in there, but they be holding shit back. And then they act like they just came upon something when they already had it. It's to get you off balance. You start building your defense on what they presented to you, and now they throw something else in there. You're like, damn, I ain't know they had this. And then you looking like, all right, now I got to revise my plan because my plan was on what I had, but I ain't know they had this. This is the shit they do. Like, I don't trust them. Straight up, I don't trust them, man. You know, from my experiences, they all do this same exact shit. When you go speak with an attorney for a consultation, they tell you everything good. They on your side. They rocking with you. We gonna beat this. When you get your discovery, everything changes. Man, we might need to jump on the first plea. Yeah, we might gonna wait to the second plea. We're gonna see what they say. And then after that plea, we'll wait and then we'll counter and we'll try to get you the best deal. But the evidence here is kind of like overwhelming. And I don't know if we're going to be able to beat this in trial. But if you want to go to trial, we'll go to trial. But I would think it would be your best interest, you know, to try to get the best plea because it's a lot going on here. They have these witnesses testifying. Then, you know, it's Pooh Shiesty homies. You don't know how many of them niggas gonna hold up. You gotta understand him, right? Pooh Shiesty running around with a bunch of broke dudes. Pooh Shiesty in jail. He ain't thinking, let me make sure all my homies got attorneys. He ain't thinking about them now. See, and this is what people fail to realize. When a situation occurs and you a down, ride or die individual, when the situation go down and all y'all get jammed up, the main person that got you riding, they in jail too. Now it's every man for themselves. You ain't got shit. It was with the team when we was out there, but now we all locked up. It's every man for themselves, and you ain't got shit. So you trying to fight a case and you ain't got nothing, and they do this purposely, right? They separate you. You ain't got no attorney. They give you a public defender. Your public defender telling you, man, it ain't looking good. They saying you did it, right? So They might not be saying Pooh Shiesty did certain things. They saying you did everything. You was the one that upped the strap. You was the one that stood by the door. You was the one that grabbed the bag. You took the watches. You did all this, right? And they point at they not really saying Pooh did too much, but you gonna take the fall. This when niggas get in there and start, man, hold up, huh? So they try to say everything on me. Niggas start thinking, man, I was riding for him. I'm riding for him. I ain't got no attorney. I'm in a situation. Shit real. What I'm supposed to do? But these are the things that people don't think about when they running around in the street. No, ain't nobody worried about that. They not paying attention to that part. This is the end results. You know, they locked all of them up. And I can bet some of the homies gonna tell. I can bet that. They not gonna all hold up and sit on the trial and say, man, I'm taking it all away. I ain't do nothing. It's the ones that the conscience be eating them up, right? And they know that they was there and they know what happened, but they ain't really do too much. They was just there to support if need be. And now you charge like everybody else looking at this time. And they get to thinking, man, I don't know, man. Listen, this when it come in their mind about all the dudes that's out there now that ratted and ain't nothing happened to them. Man, shit, ain't nothing happened to them. Hold up. I'm going to just move and go on this side. I'm going to move over here. And then they get to telling the information and it's over. You know, it's 9 jokers on the case. Of course, there's going to be people that are going to tell. It's a part of the game. 9 jokers on the case. You know it's going to be people that's going to tell. Pooh Shiesty got all these dudes around him. You know, it's what happens. You got the witnesses there. They saying that the engineer saying he didn't see nothing and like, hold up. Or the studio, the person that owned the studio saying he didn't see nothing. Man, he might double back. Say, yeah, I heard all the commotion. I was scared. You don't know what's going to come out. So when the attorneys start acting like they know the case, when the case first gets started, that shit, it just make me look at them all funny because they lied to us. This is all they do. They lie to us. You get an attorney, they be lying to you. Straight up, manipulating you for your paper. They want the money. Yeah. Pooh Shiesty is cooked in the situation, man. He's cooked. Straight up. You know, people on the internet, they get to playing games with the people saying, well, maybe, you know, the feds don't got a case. Man, the feds got a case. You think they waited 3 months and they ain't got their ducks in line with 9 people on the damn indictment? Come on, man. But the YouTubers be running around acting like, oh, they ain't got nothing. You think that the feds waited 3 months with 9 indictments on the case and they don't got no evidence? You got to be kidding me. They locked up 9 people, identified each and every individual. You think they ain't got no case? These niggas that run back to their hood, right, and brag about it, post the pictures on Instagram, they get to telling other niggas in the hood about the work they put in. It's a lot of federal informants in the hood. A lot of them. You know, the feds in different divisions, they reach out to other divisions. Yo, what's going on with this situation here? The next thing they doing is calling one of their peoples like, whack. Yo, what happened? What's going on out there? What you know? What information you got for me, right? They got people like Wack that'll return the call and definitely be like, yeah, this is what I found out. This is what I know. We hear how Wack go to the internet with this shit. You think that them people calling him, he wouldn't tell them what he know? Come on, man. This nigga go to the internet with it. So you got those type of cooperating informants out there, the 137s, niggas be running around with the homies acting like they solid. They know detail what's going on. They giving information. It's a reason why the feds got the pictures of the dudes on their Instagram and saying, these are the watches. You think that the feds ain't get the pictures off these boys' Instagram of them with the watches and then say, are these your watches? Is this the watch? Is this it? You better know they did. They sitting there verifying because these niggas that got robbed, they making police reports of them Rolexes. They making police reports of the diamonds that been taken. You think that they don't got insurance on the shit? Of course they do. You know they got insurance on that shit. It's expensive shit. And they know that these people be doing this goofy shit, robbing this shit. So you gotta have a police report to make the insurance claim on your jewelry. They need that. That's a fact. They want the police report. You file and say a nigga robbed you for $1 million or a couple $100,000 in jewelry. They want a police report. They not just listen to you because if it was like that, everybody would just be making claims and selling their shit. So they want a trail of documents showing this shit. You get what I'm saying? So these boys then made claims. They done made statements, and the feds is not giving everything they got. The lawyer get up there in front of everybody and talk like, man, this is a slam dunk case. Nah, nigga, you getting paid. Straight up. If Pooh Shiesty come home or go to jail, you think about this, right? That same lawyer is the lawyer Pooh Shiesty had before, right? Pooh Shiesty got a 63-month sentence that he pled guilty to with this same lawyer. Pled guilty with the same lawyer, 63 months, and that lawyer got a bag for this shit. He know Pooh Shiesty gonna plead guilty again. Pooh Shiesty ain't no trial nigga. He a robbery nigga. That's what he is. Yeah, he'll take your shit. Yeah, he'll pull the strap out on you. But he ain't going to trial. That nigga ain't picking no jury, and the lawyer know that. So, of course, he gonna make it look good outside, right? So, when Pooh Shiesty peoples go visit him or he call his peoples on the phone, his people's gonna be like, man, your lawyer was on the news, right? And he sounded like everything good. They ain't got this, they ain't got that, right? So that right there, butter Pooh Shiesty up, make him comfortable. Then the next thing you know, once they get all the evidence, the lawyer's saying something different. So it's like you put the mind trick on him. Then the next thing you know, he got to take the plea. They going to rock Pooh Shiesty, man. Pooh Shiesty going to end up getting the plea to something crazy, like 15, 20 years. Watch. You on home confinement. They going to rock you for your back up with that shit. Then you got a new case. They going to rock you for that. They going to want some time out the situation. And when they got the statements all lined up and the individual saying certain things, because you remember, right? Inside of the paperwork, they said Pooh Shiesty held the thing to Gucci head and said, sign this. Somebody has made that statement. Somebody made that statement. So they're going to use that, and it's going to come out who the statement came from. Gucci's statement going to come out. You know, you got a lot of people saying, you know, oh, Gucci ain't say nothing now. Then you got people saying Gucci did say something. This is a business situation. Gucci going to say something in the business situation. Yeah, and you better know this, right? His girl, wifey, you know what she's saying? Man, listen, you ain't in the streets no more. This is business, baby. You ain't in the streets. You better make sure you deal with this as a businessman. And if you don't deal with this as a businessman, I'm getting away from you. You know she playing that manipulation game with him. I ain't dealing with no street shit. You did the time. I stayed behind you. I ain't for that. This is business. We got a family. This is what happens. So you better believe she telling the boy, you better talk. You better say something. This for our family. You know, so we know what Gucci gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Hey, some people might say, man, goo-wop this and goo-wop that and goo-wop. Hey, understanding that the game has changed. This is what people got to understand. A lot of people that in their time, they say they would have never told nothing, they'll tell now. A lot of people. You know, snitching was looked down upon by the whole world at one time. And then let's just be real with this, right? If you go out and commit a crime with somebody and y'all together, y'all rob something and somebody get caught or both of y'all get caught and then somebody make a statement, that's snitching. Yeah, that's snitching. But if you doing business with somebody and somebody turn a business deal into a crime and then the person reports that, that's not snitching. I wonder why people have that confused, understanding what's snitching and what's not snitching. It ain't snitching if I come to do business with you and you commit a crime and I handle it like a businessman. That ain't snitching. Now, if I plan to go out and commit a crime with you and then I say something on you, that's snitching. I think people really got snitching misconstrued. They don't understand what snitching is. They just think, oh, you said something, you snitched. No. Now, if I know it's smoke and we in the street and we got beef and we going back and forth and it's mutual beef and we understanding that this is mutual beef, keep it in the street if that's what y'all on. Now, if you say something about that, yes, I consider that snitching. But if I got business with you and you tend to turn the business into a crime, that ain't no damn snitching. The world is confused with that. I really think it's a lot of manipulation behind that. So in this situation, I really feel the business got to be handled on the business side. That's going to make niggas respect the business. Straight up. That's going to make people respect the business. I don't want to do business with you and I'm sitting here with my guard down because I'm doing business and then you turn it to a crime and I'm supposed to be like, okay, now I got to find my way to get back at you, risk myself to get back at you because I was thinking this was business. Nah. You know, that ain't how my mind frame going. You know, and I really feel like people out there should be thinking different. Like, pay attention. You know, Pooh, Shiesty, and Gucci, man, they wasn't committing crimes together. Yeah. Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty. They was doing dirt together. Now, if Big 30 say something, that's snitching. But who cares about snitching now? All them niggas out there is snitching. All of them. They all dropping dimes and telling, and niggas ain't going to jail. Niggas come home and still deal with them. You got a select few like, man, I ain't rocking with them. But then you got niggas, especially if they getting money. If a nigga getting money, oh, you snitching don't mean shit. Because you got the bag. Niggas is going to still rock with you. In this day and age, you getting paper and you bringing that guap in, you got that chicken coming in, nigga don't care about you telling. All right, you told. Hey, what's up? How we going to get this money, nigga? What we going to do to get this money? You know, you got some niggas that want to stand on those principles, but hey, that shit ain't overpowering or outweighing what other niggas is doing. You know, nigga look at it like, hold up. All right, I can make a bag dealing with this nigga, and you over there like, man, I ain't dealing with him because he a snitch. So you think that this nigga gonna turn a hefty bag down because you saying he snitched? That shit is over. Nah, that shit is not going like that. So I don't think it hold the same weight anymore. Just being honest. If you haven't already smashed that like button, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel and share this live. This shit, I'm just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. Pooh Shiesty done. Yeah, Pooh Shiesty done. He done. Yeah, he done. You know, and what they going to do, right? They going to sit them all down with no bail. Sit them all down with no bail. You understand that responsibilities still got to be handled. You sitting behind that wall. We just seen what happened with Queso and his dad. We just seen what happened. Queso and his dad. Dad was a gangster, right? Told on his son. Took the stand. The man that came out the tip of his penis got on the stand and said, he did it. Yeah, him. That's my son. Yeah, he did everything. Yeah, he told me. I know. This how I was involved. You think that Pooh Shiesty dad is going to hold up when they're able to identify his role in it? You think Pooh Shiesty Pop going to sit down and take a bit? Huh? Hey, listen. When you out here living and you living good, life is good, that shit hit different when you sit in that wall and you feel like, man, I really ain't do too much. Man, I ain't even do too much. And all I did was try to help my son out. All I did was, you know, I just looked out for him. Man, that's my son. I try to look out for him. When you sitting in that cell and you got to reflect and you can't go nowhere, and they saying, chow time, CO, crack 15, lock in. When a nigga got to sit in there and reflect on that, when you was out in the street, riding around, spending money, living in a big house, shit hit different. You sitting behind the wall thinking, man, I ain't really do shit. All I did was go. And they saying, well, you know, because of your record and your convictions, you looking at 20 for this, man. Now you got to sit through the court process, right? And they saying it ain't looking good. The witness said you was like, make sure he put the date on it. Huh? And all I said was make sure he put the date on it. Yeah, the witness said, you said make sure he put the date on it. Make sure this is done. Make sure that done. The witness said you was right there. You rented the car. You did this. Man, damn, I ain't even pull no strap out. But you liable like everybody else. You think the pop gonna hold up? Pop gonna be thinking about, I got a life. Man, that shit all good, right? When you out and you free and you moving. Everything sounds Davian. The gangster shit sound Davian. Yes, it do. Until a whole bunch of niggas got to sit down. Then you got these niggas that was with him, broke. They ain't got nobody send them nothing. Nobody send no money. They broke. They thinking about shit, man. Fucking around with Pooh Shiesty. You know what I'm saying? You sitting in the cell with your celly sick. Damn. Fuck around this nigga, man. What did y'all get out of the shit? You know, and the lawyer saying they don't got no contract. They ain't got this. They ain't got this, right? Man, they got eyewitnesses. Like, that's one of the strongest things that you can have when you got 5 people saying the same damn story. Come on now. You got 5 people saying the same story, man. You got people that was in there, that was victims, saying the same story. And then when the trial happened, if it's a trial, but I don't think none of them gonna go to trial because I don't think them niggas like that. You hear me? I don't think none of them niggas is like that. They not trial bound. Everybody is not built for trial. A lot of them niggas, they cupcakes when it come to trial. Yeah, they can be a gangster and pull the strap out. But when your life on the line, are you gonna fight the same way? You'll bust that arm, but you don't want to take that shot on going to war with the results. A lot of them niggas ain't with that. And I'm just keeping it a buck. So if the niggas was to go to trial and you got 5 people getting on the stand saying, yeah, this is what happened. This was this person there, that person there. So what if the owner of the building don't say nothing? You got people that was involved with the situation. And then I guarantee you, Pooh homies, all of them niggas ain't gonna hold up. It's 9 niggas on the case. Come on now. 9 niggas? 9? And it's a few of them that didn't do nothing. They was just there. Where does this happen at in the black community?